The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association presents Freshman Focus. A look at 2-year-olds in training across the Buckeye State. Freshman Focus is presented by El Dorado Scioto Downs, now racing Tuesday through Saturday, post time 5:45. By Sugar Valley Farm, looking for your next quality standard-bred racehorse? Look no further than Sugar Valley Farm in Delaware, Ohio. And by the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center, caring down to a science. And now here's your host, Roger Houston.
Welcome to another edition of Freshman Focus. We made the trip to the Darke County Fairgrounds here in Greenville, Ohio for today's Freshman Focus with trainer Ryan Miller. And after this message, we'll return and have a sit-down talk with Ryan Miller.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine, and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661.
Welcome back to Freshman Focus as we have our sit-down interview with Ryan Miller. And Ryan, how long have you actually been involved in harness racing?
From as early as I can remember. Little kid, my grandfather had a breeding farm in Delphus, Ohio, and I've been going to the local county fairs in Hoosier Park and Scioto Downs. I've been obsessed with it since I've been little.
Now, did he race horses as well?
Nope, never trained, never drove, nothing like that, but strictly was an owner and a breeder, and been doing it for a long time.
When did you make up your mind that this is what you were going to do for a lifetime?
Probably junior high, high school. I really got involved. I started riding my moped or bike up to the local fairgrounds in Van Wert and started helping a guy named Gig Davis, and he kind of gave me my first job as a youngster, and from there we went to college in Morrisville.
Did you do much driving early on?
Not till I got to college. They had a really neat standardbred program at Morrisville when I was there, and my teacher there, he got us our driver's license, and we started driving at the local county fairs in Vernon Downs in New York.
Now you're into it, it's your life's vocation without a question. How many horses do you train this year?
I think we got 22, I believe, right now, 23, something like that.
10 so 2-year-olds, or do you have even more?
We got 14.
14?
14 2-year-olds, yep.
Yeah. Now, we've got a mixture. You've got Ohio breds, you've got Ohio, Kentucky eligibles, anything in Indiana?
Nope, not this year. I have in the past, but this year we stayed just strictly in Ohio.
With the Ohio program, we really don't need to go anywhere else.
No, it's unbelievable. We very impressed with what they've done with Ohio and the different levels, the fairs, the Buckeye, and the Sire Stakes it's unbeatable.
When you go to the sales, do you find horses that fit in certain places like Sire Stakes, Buckeye, or county fairs?
Yeah, I've got a really nice wide variety of owners. Some don't really care. They want to have fun. They want to go to the county fairs, and that's kind of what they want. I'm sure they'd love their Sire State colt like anybody else. And so we maybe buy some cheaper colts for them. And then we got some guys that kind of, they're looking for the home run. Good luck getting the home run, but we do try to buy different levels.
So the emphasis is on the owner to agree.
Absolutely. We try to mold and adapt to what they're wanting to look for.
I understand you also got a little fractional ownership in your stable.
Yep. Yeah, Jessica Schroeder runs a horseplay racing stable, and she's been with us for probably about as soon as I started on my own 7-8 years ago, and we've had horses and actually had really good luck. We've had a horse in the Sire Stakes and the Buckeye and won some Buckeyes, and we've had a lot of fun with Jessica. She does a fantastic job.
What does it mean to you as a horseman to be able to have your stable here at the Darke County Fairgrounds in Greenville, Ohio?
Well, there's great history here, great, obviously from Gene Regal and others, but it's a beautiful setting, beautiful place. We've got a fast piece of dirt. It's definitely, and we're in a good location. You know, most of my tracks are within an hour and a half of where I want to go, and I can hit probably 20 fairs within an hour and a half. So it really makes it easy. And I kind of logistically planned that when I came back. I wanted to go kind of the Greenville area.
Now, staying with Greenville, I've always considered the best county fairgrounds was Delaware, Ohio,
Sure.
and their racetrack.
Sure.
But a close second is Greenville. This strip of racetrack is pretty dang nice.
It is. It is. It's a blessing to train here. We've got a fair board that works with us pretty well. We got a track man, takes care of the track year round. We've got pretty much all the resources you would have at most tracks or training centers. So it's been really awesome to be able to train here. And then obviously the fair week is fantastic. It's as good as anywhere.
Now you live relatively close to the fairgrounds?
Yep. We live about 6-7 minutes away in the park.
Being 6 or 7 minutes away is real close, but you mentioned the park. Didn't they have a little storm a week or so ago?
Yeah. We had a little tornado, small tornado, but thank God it was small. Touchdown right, and it hit kind of locally right on the park, and wiped out. Gosh, I'd say 1,000 trees or more.
Really?
Big trees. Fortunately, no one was hurt, from what I've heard, and a lot of the houses were spared. Thank goodness. Ours was. But we had a gorgeous park, and it's going to be different looking here in about a week or two when they get it cleaned up.
You said really the only structural damage was trees falling on some of the houses.
Yeah, yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
A little scary, wasn't it?
It wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. I didn't know what to expect, but it was short-lived. I didn't think anything could have happened in a minute time period, because that's about all it lasted. And we walk outside in a minute, and I was like, oh my. Yeah, it shocked me.
And relatively, it's close to the fairgrounds as well as that.
Yeah, that was my biggest concern, really. I mean, when I realized we were safe and the neighbors were safe and, you know, the houses were pretty, I wanted to get over here as soon as possible. And I called a gentleman who works for me and who lives right here by the fairgrounds, and he said it was unscathed and that no damage at all.
Well, you survived that one, so
Yeah.
good luck with your horses this year.
Yep.
Did you miss many days training here?
No, we don't miss too many days. You know, it was a good winter, like I've heard some other people say. We had the same. We had a beautiful winter, and really we miss days on purpose. I try to schedule. I think the horses are changing. I think they're. It's not like they used to be where you need to go 3-4 trips. I like to give them a little more time off in between training trips, and some time off in between to turn them out. I really like turning them out and trying to give them some time off.
I've read an article in the last week, I'm not sure which it was, but it was on Delvin Miller winning the Hambletonian with helicopter. The week before the Hambletonian, he trained helicopter 6 trips. Times have changed.
They sure have, yeah. There's times, you know, I came up under Ray Schnichter as a second trainer for him for about 6 years, and at times we wouldn't train horses at all in between. And I've kind of molded my training a lot after his, and there's times, you know, a horse could go a couple weeks off without racing, and I feel they're just as sharp as they are. I don't know, they just seem maybe almost a little more thoroughbredish now.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, thanks for sitting down with us and speaking with us about Darke County and Greenville and your operation. And after this message, we'll return here with the Ryan Miller stable and take a look at his Ohio breds in training. Welcome back to Freshman Focus. This is the gelding Spirit's Happy Ending by Down by the Seaside out of I Can Man My Spirit by Dragon Again. Is he a classic Down by the Seaside?
I've had quite a few down by the seasides, and I haven't found a classic yet.
Yeah.
Mine are a little bit all different. This is, I'm hoping, the right down by the seaside. He's absolutely got a great temperament on him, quick turn of foot, beautiful mouth. A lot of them tend to get a little bit on the aggressive side, as we've heard over the years, but this colt really has done everything right.
When I say classic, I more or less mean size-wise, because they all seem to have real good size.
Yeah, he's a big, strong colt. I mean, he's got a gorgeous face on him. Probably is, I would think, as close as down by the seaside as you could get, actually. He's absolutely beautiful colt.
Yeah.
Big colt.
How much you been with him?
He's been in 205, in a race bike last week.
Well, I know in the past broadcasts that we've had, no one's been anyways near 205. Even talked to trainers just last week.
Sure.
Are you ahead of schedule?
We are. Yep. The weather was fantastic. We had an awesome winter and spring. Our track here at Greenville is absolutely flawless. But he's done nothing. We've not asked him to do anything. It was really effortless for him. That was his first time in the race bike. He'd been in 212, 210 a couple times and doing it really good. So even though he's been in 2.5, I'm very happy with him.
Does he do things on the racetrack that you want him to do, or does he have a quirk where he still's got some things he wants to do?
No, this colt is absolutely the most perfect down by the seaside I've ever owned or trained. A lot of them definitely do what they want to do, I found, but this colt is everything you want. He does it all right.
Now, he's a gelding.
Yes.
Any second thoughts?
I try not to have second thoughts about stuff like that. He does act like a pretty nice colt. His mom made, I think, maybe just shy of $500,000. No, he needed it. He needed it. He didn't focus at all getting going. He really needed it early, and he's definitely proved it was probably a good choice.
This is the gelding Spirit's Happy Ending by Down by the Seaside. This is a gelding Garoppolo by Bit of a Legend Inn out of Pretty Girl, Hanover by Well Said, named after a quarterback.
Yeah, I suppose so. I didn't pick the name. I didn't choose the name, but I haven't had a lot of good luck changing names either, so we kind of leave them alone.
Is that a thing that you usually keep the names that they have?
Yeah, we've had just terrible luck changing them, so we leave them alone. I've had really bad luck. As soon as I've changed a name, it's been terrible. So,
Bit of a Legend Inn. Have you had any of those before?
Nope, this is the second crop of them. I did not. I thought they were, they didn't have a big crop last year, but I saw a few that kind of, seemed like they were okay. So we thought we'd take a shot on one.
How's he doing?
He's doing really well now. Early on, didn't care for him. He didn't feel good straight out of the sale. Took him a couple months to get going, but he's really training good. He's a very spirited colt. He's got a good mouth on him, and he's training really well.
Now, your other one went in 205 this way. Have you been that much with him?
I think we worked him 1.7 miles the other day. Yep, and he did it well. Did it real well.
When you go 1.7 miles, what kind of fractions do you usually want?
I think that day we went like a 1/2 and 5, and we came back 1/2 and 2.
It's the back half that you're really looking at, though, isn't it?
For sure, for sure. Yep.
Now, he's a gelding. You said you had a little rough way to go with him and such.
Yep.
Did he change almost instantly, or?
Well, truthfully, I don't think this horse felt good. And I've had a couple colts that's come from the sales that just didn't feel good. I don't know exactly if it was gut or belly wasn't hurting or something. But this horse took a long time to feel good. So the gelding didn't instantly change him. But when he started feeling good, we actually turned him out for 30 days. And after that, we went back at it, and he really got better.
Was there anything that you could do to make him feel better?
I don't know. I don't know if he just wasn't conditioned, and naturally they're not going to be conditioned coming from the farms. But I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what made him tick. I just think maybe his belly wasn't feeling good. And I've had a few colts that have come from the sales that, I don't know, they didn't feel good. So instead of breaking them, we just wait 30, 40 days and give them a little time off and go on then.
So when you give him the time off, then bring him back, and he was right.
Yeah, and I've had that quite a few times, yep.
This is the gelding Garoppolo by Bit of a Legend Inn. This is the gelding Nelly Up by Muscle Up the Goal out of Ornelia Dream by Fortuna Winner. A trotter?
Yep. We've actually had a little luck with trotters over the years, but I should say early when I showed up from New York, but the last couple years hadn't been quite as good to me. So we bought one this year, and we got him at the Buckeye sale, pretty cheap. He's a muscle up the goal, and he's been training really good.
Why did this one catch your eye?
I don't know, actually. I knew Muscle Up Goal kind of had a small crop, and we looked him up. They were racing, in Ontario, and he had a small crop, and I believe almost every one of them raced and took records. And so we decided to just take a shot. He was kind of a nice, good-looking colt, had his nice legs on him, and just took a shot for something cheap.
How's it when you go sets or something? How does he go with the pacers?
Yeah, he's been going along with the pacers. Actually, early on, he was very ornery, did nothing right. And we kind of got that settled in, and he just had one day it clicked for him. And it's kind of sometimes trotters got to do. And from then on, I've been able to train him with all the pacers he's wanted, and he's been going along right with them.
How fast you been?
I think I worked him in 2.8.
2.8.
Mm-hmm.
But does he make any mistakes, or?
No, not anymore. He made a lot of them early on. He made a lot of mistakes, and we just stayed patient with him, and threw the trot and hobbles on early, and I really think that helped him. And now he's just 1, 2, 3.
Now, a lot of patience. Do you yourself have a lot of patience?
Not really. I struggle with that. That's I've always said is harness racing is the biggest thing is patience. But I'm getting it. I'm slowly getting it. The more horses you get, the easier it is to have a little patience, I think.
Well, you got to have a lot of patience for trotters.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that.
Sure.
So you do anything wrong right now?
No, he's been absolutely perfect. He's been absolutely perfect. I really tickled with this colt. You know, I don't know what level he'll be, if he'll be a fair colt, Buckeye colt, Sire State colt. I really don't know, but I know wherever he does race, he's going to be competitive because he's actually been absolutely fantastic the last 2 months.
You may go to the sales and get another Muscle Up the Goal.
I might. You never know.
This is Nelly Up by Muscle Up the Goal. This is the gelding Derby Up by Lather Up out of Hoochie Girl by Mr. Big. Now, I know where you get the up, but how'd you come up with Derby Up?
He was born on Derby Day. He was a homebred for us, one of our first homebreds, and the first foal out of Hoochie Girl that we trained, and was born on Derby Day, and it was kind of just an easy fit for us.
Hoochie Girl, I remember her racing quite a bit.
Yep, she was Mr. Big filly, raced really good in the Buckeyes. I think we dabbled in the Sire Stake, but it was really more of a Buckeye filly. She won the Buckeye final at 3, and was a really nice, talented filly.
Is this her first foal?
Yep, this is her first foal.
How's he been doing?
Really good. He's been kind of typical for the rest of my lather ups, but I really like him. He's got a quick turn of foot, really smart. Like that's one I found with some of the lather ups I've had, been very intelligent, almost too intelligent. he's pretty smart. He knows exactly what's coming before it happens.
Of the 2-year-olds we're looking at, you've got 4 lather ups. Did you want to get a bunch of lather ups this year, or is that just the way it worked out?
It kind of worked out, but I did have a lather up filly last year. Was I think the best lather up filly. Her name was Rose Run Zoe. I think she made just shy of 200,000 last year and won the Breeders' Championship there at Delaware. And so we had one good one. We were 1 for 1, and we decided to kind of try our hand at a few more.
She got speed built in her?
They're quick. They're really quick. Yeah, I mean, how far they can carry, I don't know. But from what I've seen in the lather ups, they're really quick horses.
Now, are they right around 2.5 as well?
I think I trained him in 2.6, something like that. But yeah, he did it very effortless. Actually, he's almost very ornery. He might even have to go a little faster. He'll get over to Hoosier Park and train a couple big trips at the big track.
Some people may be wondering why you go so much to Hoosier Park, but it's just a few miles away.
Yeah, for here, I mean, I'm on the the western side of the state, so we run over to Hoosier Park a lot and train. I train over there probably 3 times a year with my babies. It gets them used to the tractors on the big track, the big grandstands, and it's big and open. It teaches them how to get home.
This is the Lather Up, Derby Up. This is the filly Secret Seduction by Lather Up out of Stormy Seduction by Well Said. You know, we did last week Rosie Weaver, and she says she looks them in the eye and can tell whether they're got a good temperament or a bad one. What about this one?
If I would have went by that, I probably wouldn't have bought this filly. I liked her at the farm, looked her at the sale there at the Ohio Jug sale, and really liked her. But going into the ring and kind of, she looked kind of evil. To be honest, we bought her anyways. We got her fairly cheap, and loading was a disaster. She had nothing but an evil eye, and I thought, this is going to be why did I buy this filly? To be honest, she broke out probably as easy as anybody.
So there is something about looking them in the eye then.
Yeah, there could be, but I don't know. I was thinking as soon as I got her home, why did I buy this filly? But I tell you what, she's actually been a dream to train. She's trained down fantastic.
As an announcer, I'll say, look at him in the eye and goes right on by.
Right.
That's my terminology.
Yep.
But has she done what you want once she got straightened out?
Yeah, she was right from the beginning. She's probably the classiest horse I've had in the barn from day one. She was super smart, super easy gaited, quick, light on her feet, and has done everything really well.
Is she right up there as one of your better fillies?
Yep, she has been. Yep, she got a little sick on me, so I backed her up a little bit. I think I've trained her in like maybe 212. She has not went to a race bike yet, but she will probably next week, and should go around 2.6, 2.7.
What do you do with a filly or a gelding or what when they do get a bit sick? You just give them some time off.
Yep, just give them some time off. Some of them need treated with antibiotics, some of them don't, and it just kind of depends on how sick they are and how they're acting. But with her, we just gave her a couple weeks off, and she responded pretty well.
Now, you give her a couple weeks off. When you bring them back, do you have to bring them back different, or can you go right where you were?
No, a couple weeks off. They're getting turned out usually. We use some of the local farms to turn some horses out, and she got turned out. So I'll jog her a couple days and go right back to training just like normal.
This is the filly Secret Seduction by Lather Up. This is a gelding Seeing Gray by Down by the Seaside out of Gray Major by Art Major. A gelding, and it seems like I remember this one from the matinee down at Salina.
Yep, he's Ohio, Kentucky bred, and we decided to take him just away a little bit early. So we took him down to Salina, get him away from home, and get him behind the gate and see how he'd act. See if we want to go to maybe Kentucky. Oak Grove goes a little earlier than the rest of the tracks.
The experience at Salina, how did he handle it?
Really good, really good. To be honest, a couple months ago he was a total butthead. Did nothing right. Very ornery. Didn't have the greatest of attitudes, but in the last month and a half, 2 months, he's come a long ways. And it's kind of promising colt. I really like this dude now.
You mentioned butthead. Do you have a Beavis?
No, we actually had a really good crop of really smart colts this year. He was our only butthead in the barn today, or this year.
How does he stack up with your other Down by the Seasides?
Well, all along he's kind of been the furthest one behind of the four. And it's really hard to judge. I know we've been a little bit, but I haven't really stepped on the gas. Hoosier Park separates him from me. When we go over there, we train 1 or 2 times, and that's when you start to separate them. And so I'm excited about him. I'm very intrigued because he's come along really well in the last month.
Now, when you go to Hoosier to train, will you put him right away in race bikes?
Well, we've already been there. We went over in April and train them over there, and jog carts around 20, 25. And I like to kind of rip the Band-Aid off and get that out of the way. And that way, then the next time or two they come back, they've already been there, done that. They've already shipped. And yeah, I'll probably go on bikes the next time we go over.
When you train one in a jog cart and then you go to a race bike, what's the time differential?
Oh, maybe 6 seconds.
Really?
I'd say 5-6 seconds. I find if I've been in 212, it's usually pretty effortless for him to go around 7, maybe even 6. It seems pretty easy for him then.
Do you drive them in the qualifiers? Or?
I did a lot when I first showed up, when I started training on my own about 8-9 years ago. But I've been kind of just letting the better drivers handle the driving duties lately. But I will take some of them. I'll take a few of them.
This is a gelding Seeing Gray by Down by the Seaside. This is the filly Witching Blue Chip by Down by the Seaside out of Jenny's Terror by Western Terror. Another Down by the Seaside.
Yep. This is one of our 4. Filly we bought at Harrisburg. My veterinarian and I bought her together, and she's been training really good. Actually, she's really, really ornery, does a lot wrong jogging, but when you turn her, she's absolutely perfect. She puts her head down, does everything right the way you're supposed to.
Have you had other horses that are that way when they jog, and then as soon as you turn them, they're different?
Not many pacers, mostly the trotters, that got to kind of get their corks out. But you think she's going to be a royal pain in the butt training, but you turn her, and she's absolutely been a fantastic filly to train.
So I guess you would say she knows when she's got to do her business.
I said it from day one, like their first training trip. Yeah, I told the other owner, I said, she actually seems like as soon as you go the right way, she knows it's time to behave. I don't know how, but she seems like from day one, that's exactly the way she's been.
How much you been with her?
She is also one who got a little bit sick on us, but I think we've been in 211 or 212 in a jog cart, and she's done it very, very easily.
Now, by the 1st of June, you think she'll catch up with the others?
Yeah, to be honest, we talked about the race bike, how much difference it is. So if I put her in a race bike, she should go, right as long as with everybody else. Yep.
So you kind of like her then?
I do like this filly. Yeah, I didn't stake her too heavily or anything, but Ohio sire stakes and stuff like that. But she's one who could be anything. She does everything right for a Seaside.
Now, when you mentioned staking and such, you have to make those stake payments a lot earlier and stuff like that.
Yep.
How do you judge who to put in the stakes and not?
Well, it's a little tough for me. I've never been one to buy too expensive horses when I first showed up, so I had to just set, sire stakes and stuff like that. And then I've had a couple fillies that have been able to go a little bit higher. So now I'm having to start to think about it, and I've got some ownerships now with a little more. They're looking for a little classier horse, so we've stepped out and tried to stake a little bit higher.
What's the normal sale price for you, or do you have a normal price you like to get to?
I really try to buy a little bit of everything. I've got some, farm boy owners, and we've been starting to, get a couple owners with a little bit, a higher class horses. So, we'll go from 10,000. I bought a filly this year for 10,000. My trotter was like 9,000. And I try to buy a couple of cheap ones. I try to buy a couple in the $30,000 range, and usually we try to buy a couple in the $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 range. Just try to have a nice even spread.
So it'll pay off once you get to the races, because you can race into just about anything there.
Yep. Yeah, we hit all the classes. We hit the fairs, the Buckeye, the sire stakes. Anything we need to go to, we're not afraid to go there.
This is Witching Blue Chip by Down by the Seaside. This is a gelding Hey Hey, It's Frye by Down by the Seaside out of Wishes Do Come True by Art Major. This one gave them fits at Salina, not so much on the racetrack, I guess, but they couldn't figure out what her name was.
Yeah, he was one. I probably would have changed the name, but I said earlier I've not had good luck changing names, so we left it alone. And he went up to Salina. He's also a part Kentucky bred, and so we kind of wanted to see what he would do on a different size track, or go up there and just kind of experience a little bit of things before we decide if we want to go to Oak Grove or not.
You intentionally get some horses that are Ohio, Kentucky eligible?
I've never really intentionally looked for it. If we get it, it's a bonus. I had a filly win the Kentucky Fair final down there a few years back. So it's, I don't look for it, and we've actually won the Oak Grove, the sire stake in Oak Grove with a filly named Calgary. So we've actually had a little luck in Kentucky for the limited amount of times we've raced there. So I don't look for it, but I'm definitely not going to shy away from it.
So if you've got an Ohio race, you're going to take the Ohio race, but maybe it comes on an off week, you might go to Kentucky.
Yep. The stakes are a little early down in, well, there's the Red Mile stakes, but there's some early stakes. So you kind of have to prepare for a kind of ahead of schedule. And that's why we went up to Salina last week to just see, who's kind of mentally prepared to ready to go for something like that.
What did he do at Salina?
He won up there. We had all of my colts in the same race for some reason. But Clint Coy took this colt. And he just went around the racetrack, did everything right. He said he was real well within himself and did really well. Very, very smart colt.
How fast?
I don't think they went a lot, maybe 12 or 13. I probably would, if I would have been going, we probably would have went a hair more on the front end. But Clint did a really good job and just kind of took it easy on the colt.
This is the gelding. Hey, hey, it's Frye Nay. This is the colt Woodrow Blue Chip. Out of by Lather Up, out of Anas's Blue Chip, by American Ideal. This one's still a colt.
Yep. We bought him at Lexington, and he's done everything right from day one. I usually geld him all, I really do. But from day one, he's just been nothing but a gentleman and has done everything right. So we've decided to leave him alone. And it's getting a little late if we needed to geld him, but we'll probably leave him alone. I think this colt's, he acts like a really nice boy.
From the get-go, he was a perfect gentleman then.
He was, he had a beautiful gait to him, great temperament, and he's done everything right from the very day we broke him.
So Woodrow, now you understand what's going to happen if you start acting up, don't you? How much you been with him?
I've been in 210 with him in a jaw cart, and he's done it real easy.
You mentioned, though, going back to, it's getting a little late to geld them. What is the time frame on that?
A lot of times when the heat hits them, we don't geld much in the heat for some reason. It just seems like it. I don't know. I guess other people might geld, but I try not to geld them too much when it gets into the heat. I like to get them gelded in the wintertime, and keep the flies away and stuff like that.
And if he's a colt and such, and as long as he's doing what he's going to do, you're going to leave him a colt.
Yep. I've not had too many of those, but so far we're really proud of this colt. I'm very happy, and I'm hopefully hope for big things.
So you've actually trained him more than you raced at Salina.
Yeah. They've he's been in, I think he said 210. So yep, he's been a little more than they went at the Salina matinee.
Okay, this is the colt Woodrow Blue Chip by Lather Up. This is the filly Twist My Tail by Lather Up out of Hot Tail by Captain Treacherous. Another filly in your barn. Do you like fillies?
I do. I've had a lot of luck with them in the short period I've been training on my own. I don't know why exactly. I haven't had a ton of good colts yet, but I've always liked the fillies. They're a bit more challenging. Got to deal with their hormones, but I think it's kind of a fun challenge.
How's she been training?
Broke out okay. Had a kind of a funky gait to her. Didn't quite know what the heck she was doing, and as of the last month or so, she's trained down with one of the best.
You start training them, she's got a funky gait. Do you put the hobbles on a little earlier than you may?
We put the hobbles on about day 7 to 10 roughly of jogging. So they put them on normal, but it just took her a little time to get them. And a lot of the lather ups have kind of come to them quickly from what I've seen. So it shocked me that she did take a little longer, but she's got a big stride on her now, and she's got a quick turn of foot.
The horses that are pacers and wear the hobbles, do you jog them free-legged, or you still put the hobbles on to even jog?
We keep the hobbles on until pretty much now. But about right when we're getting ready to go qualify, they can start taking them off. But they've been staying on all along.
This is the filly Twist My Tail by Lather Up. Well, that wraps up another edition of Freshman Focus. We'd like to thank Ryan Miller and all of his help for making our job real easy today, getting these horses jogged and everything in the barn as well. So we hope that you'll join us again next week, same time, same location for Freshman Focus.
This has been Freshman Focus, a look at 2-year-olds in training across the Buckeye State. Freshman Focus is presented by El Dorado Scioto Downs, now racing Tuesday through Saturday, post time at 5:45. By Sugar Valley Farm. Looking for your next quality standardbred racehorse? Look no further than Sugar Valley Farm in Delaware, Ohio. And by the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center, caring down to a science. Freshman Focus is a presentation of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association.